Hi everyone. So this video is about measuring public opinion, and there's another video on public opinion if you haven't watched that yet, just above this one. So there are lots of ways to measure public opinion. We're going to talk about 5 big ones in this video. Election returns are a handy way to find out what the public is thinking, because you can then definitively discern how did someone vote, how many people voted for a particular person or a particular party or a particular set of candidates, if we're talking about, say, president and vice president, how many people turned out in a different area. You can also take a look at different demographics, and those demographics would include what age groups turned out and how did they vote. Did they vote for this candidate or this party or that party? What education level, socioeconomic status, religious background, state that they live in, an area of the country, immigration status, race, gender, ethnicity. There's so many ways that we can take a look at different patterns in the United States via election returns. Of course, that gives us retrospective data. It does not give us data that that candidates can use and say, ooh, I know who I need to talk to before the next election. They can use that prospectively, but the data itself was for one particular election. You can, however, take patterns from that and take a look and see who's voting for which types of candidates and how. So election returns can be particularly useful. Special interest size. So a special interest group is an organization with the goal of promoting a particular set of policies. They do not run candidates for office, but they do often support candidates who run for office. Their goal, their focus is on working with people who are in office, usually legislators. So in the United States, that would be members of Congress. And in recent years, we've seen more special interest groups with focus on the executive branch as well. But the size of a special interest group indicates how much sway they have. The largest special interest group in the United States is the AARP. That's the American Association of Retired Persons. And they accept they accept members who are as young as 55. And so because of that, they've got a really large groundswell of support from the public. And that makes it a lot simpler for a representative from the AARP or any other large organization that's a special interest to get an audience with a member of Congress. If I call up my member of Congress and say, hey, I want an hour of your time, I represent only one person. I represent myself, maybe my family, my husband, my daughter. That's it. If I am a representative of the AARP and I call up my member of Congress and say, hey, I'd like some of your time, that member of Congress is going to say, come on down, because that person wants to know what's on the mind of the 20,000 people in his district who are AARP members, so that he can make them happy, so that he can get reelected. So special interest size can make a big difference. The larger you're able to grow your organization, the more effectively you're able to implement your particular policies in the legislative sessions. Letter writers, demonstrators, again, it makes a difference if you've got large numbers. If I write a letter to my congressman, awesome. That is my constitutional right, okay? If I write a letter about a topic and 10,000 of my very best friends write a letter about the same topic, that's going to get more attention. That's going to get more focus. Same thing with demonstrations. If you go and protest outside the Capitol, all right, cool. That is your constitutional right. But if, again, you and a million of your best friends go and protest outside the Capitol, there's going to be some attention paid to that. It's going to be more noticeable. Campaign activities, you can work on a political campaign if you're interested in that. The more supporters and more volunteers that a campaign has generally indicates more of a grassroots effort, which is something that's going to indicate more votes at the polls. And so that can be very helpful for somebody who's running for office. And then measuring public opinion, not necessarily politically, but via community involvement. This is actually the most popular way for young people to be involved, is volunteering in some fashion. We can learn what is important to members of the public based on the activities that they give their time and their effort and sometimes their sweat to freely. So if more young people are tutoring children, then education is a priority. If you've got more young people who are working on cleaning up the community, maybe environment and beautification, okay, conservation efforts. If you've got people who are working on substandard housing, okay, so working with habitat, then that's something that would be considered more of a focus of a desire for that particular group of individuals.